Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. My name is Paul Miller, president of the Northwest Florida Manufacturers Council. We're fortunate in Northwest Florida to have a community with a rigid belief in collaboration. The council, along with Florida West Economic Development Alliance of Escambia County and the Escambia County school system, work closely with area businesses to ensure the community has all the resources we need to remain strong in the future. All of us agree the most important resource is you, the students and teachers in the area, who are working hard to develop the skill sets needed by local companies. You have a great resource in council member CEREX Advanced Fabrics, the winner of the Florida Governor Sterling Award this year. If you'd like to hear from more companies like CEREX Advanced Fabrics, please visit our website, NWFMC.org, and let us know which companies can help you implement your curriculum. At the end of the presentation, there will be a brief survey. Please fill this out so that our partners at FLATE can improve our abilities to serve your needs. I want to thank the team at Florida Makes, a network of regional manufacturing associations like NWFMC, for providing the tools and people to put this all together. As always, Florida Makes is here for Florida manufacturers. To learn more about them, go to floridamakes.com. Now for a quick technical note. You'll notice that there are icons across the bottom of your screen. The plant tour console is interactive, and you're able to minimize and maximize different aspects on your screen. The video and slides will be playing in the slides area, and the presenter webcams are visible in the media player. You'll need to turn the volume up in the slides box to hear the video. The QA box is in the middle above the other icons. You can submit questions to the presenters there. To get us started, here is Scott Luth, Chief Executive Officer of Florida West EDA, followed by Escambia County Schools Workforce Education Director, Steve Harrell. Take it away, Scott.
Sure. Again, Paul, I want to thank you so much for having me here this morning. And this is an exciting day for, obviously, for Pensacola and Escambia County, and most importantly, for our manufacturing community. You know, our existing industry and business is probably some of the most important to us and our economy here in our region. Again, like I said, I'd like to thank Florida Makes, obviously, for hosting our Manufacturing Month and Manufacturing Day today. You and the Northwest Florida Manufacturing Council, for making this event possible as well. But probably most importantly, I want to thank CEREX, for hosting us today and being involved in a virtual tour to give everyone an opportunity to really kind of see their facility and see why they were recognized as a bronze winner, in this year's Florida Sterling Awards, which is also great. When we look at our economy and our community, what drives our particular region, first and foremost, the folks that live here, understand that military is a huge part of our economy, probably followed by tourism in size. But again, from our perspective, one of the most important, though, is our manufacturing community. And when we look at our community, we have about 7,000 people working in manufacturing in our area with an average wage of well over $63,000 a year. And what's also most important, and probably even more so, when we look at COVID, and we look at the pandemic and how that's really kind of impacted our tourism industry, the stability and the ability for our manufacturing community to continue to operate as essential businesses is just really continues to highlight the opportunities and the security that's around, our community going into manufacturing type positions. So not only is it a great job opportunity for for everyone involved, whether you enjoy and have the opportunity to work on the production line itself, but there's also so many other jobs tied with manufacturing that a lot of people don't think about. I mean, there's engineering opportunities, there's business opportunities, there's human resource opportunities within manufacturing, and so it's probably one of the best industry sectors that has a holistic opportunity for so many different professions and so many different opportunities for employment that some people just don't realize that or don't think about looking to manufacturing as a great career opportunity, and it's truly a great career in our community. So at this time, I do want to kind of again thank you all for letting me be here today. Florida West Economic Development is so grateful to Florida Makes again and Northwest Florida Manufacturers Council for all that you do. But our greatest partnership is with our school system. Without the dedicated hard work of our folks within the school system, teaching our youth about the opportunities and career paths. Again, I want to thank Steve Harrell for his time and his partnership as well. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you so much. All I can say is I absolutely echo every sentiment that both of you have already expressed. I've been reading Governor DeSantis's Manufacturing Month in Florida release, and October 2020 being the manufacturing month, that declaration. And I'm reading in here that there are 20,800 manufacturers across the state. And for those of you students out there listening to that, you need to hear that number again. 20,800 manufacturers across the state of Florida, employing over 383,000 workers. That is an opportunity for each of you. So you heard those numbers, talking about salaries in the $60,000 range. That is above normal. That's something that when you get these skills in our classes and you take those into the workforce, you're bringing something valuable to all of those manufacturers. You're bringing something to the table that they can use from you as an employee. So pay close attention today and ask the questions that help you direct yourself towards getting one of those jobs in manufacturing. When you talk about high income, you talk about stability for the long run. Those are the things that all of us as employees, as adults, are looking for in our lives. So, hear what these folks are saying, take this information in, and use it to navigate your way through your education, because it doesn't just happen at the middle school, the high school level. It goes on beyond that. So got opportunities, get those industry certifications while you're in middle and high school, and then use those to build on more certifications and more training at the post-secondary level. What I mean is Pensacola State and the University of West Florida, go get that engineering degree and come be an engineer for one of these companies. And I'm sure places like CEREX would love to talk to you. If you get those credentials in this hand, you go talk to them, they may put a job in that other hand for you. So thank you all for giving me the opportunity to speak for a moment. But students, you take the opportunity too. When we get a chance to ask questions, ask those questions that you're dying to know, because the most important thing for you right now is getting that education so you can get that job. Let me say that again. You're getting an education so you can get that job. And these are the kinds of jobs that are really going to pay dividends for the rest of your life. So thank you to everyone for being here today. This is important to our students, and I hope you all are paying close attention. And thank you very much to CEREX for letting us see behind the walls there and know what's really happening. And I guess I'm turning it over to James at this point.
Yes, sir. I needed a moment to unmute myself. So thank you all for your kind words and for being here to learn a little bit more about CEREX and what we do. I'm very excited to share that with you guys. We were very, very excited to be part of the Sterling Manufacturing Business Excellence Award process this year. And we were lucky enough to have won, to come out winners. So we're excited to tell you guys who we are, what we do. We are a small manufacturer in the area, so not many people know us, but you know our products, whether or not you know who we are. So if you give me just a minute, I'll go through this. We'll talk a little bit about what a career in manufacturing does look like, and then we'll have plenty of time for questions, if anyone has any. Our company is the leading specialty nylon nonwoven fabric producer in the world. When I look, or when I'm speaking to people about what we do, and I mention the word nonwoven, most people give me that blank stare. When I tell them to think of a dryer sheet as a nonwoven, they start to piece things together. Dryer sheet is made out of different material than what we make, but our material is very similar in touch and feel to the dryer sheet. So that's mostly what we're working with. We've been located here for 50 years now. This is our only facility. So we have manufacturing and administrative functions here in Pensacola, just north of Pensacola. We have a 100,000 square foot manufacturing facility with about 75 people working in both manufacturing and quality control. We do our own maintenance and electrical resources, sales forces here, HR, accounting, all the way up to our highest executive here in Pensacola. We are a 9001 certified quality system. You guys will probably hear that a lot as you get into manufacturing. It's basically a way, a set of standards for all businesses to run by to certify that they're doing things properly or correctly. It gives the people that are buying from them a good feeling about their business practices. We serve a variety of markets with different products, and I'll get into some of those in just a moment. Next slide, please. Thank you. So what we do is we take polymer flake, chip called chip here. We actually buy that from another manufacturer here in Pensacola. flake production facilities in the world. We then melt the material into a liquid polymer, and we put it through a spin die, what we call a spinneret. As you can see in the picture there, we make strands. Our strands are much, much finer than this. They're really, really hard to see on an individual basis, but we make about 4,000 of them to make our product. We then put them onto a vacuum formation table. You can see that web formation on the slide there. So we're, again, putting these 4,000 filaments onto a table. And from there, we've got a series of rolls that is pulling the material away and making the fabric. So it's very, very thin, very, very paper-like material that's coming off of that and going through secondary processing. We'll then bond it, and we'll go into the different technologies we have there, and then wind it up onto a roll. So we're selling rolls all over the world. Next slide, please. So the way our process works, we've got a computer system that watches most every variable that we can and do control in our process. Temperatures, pressures, ambient conditions, humidity in the environment, things like that. We're controlling all these with very sophisticated computer systems that are keeping them very, very tight tolerances so that we can make good product and make very consistent product as well. We have two different bonding technologies, one of which is chemical-based, so a lot of chemistry goes into that. The other is temperature and pressure-based, so a very mechanical process. Then we wind into a master roll. Everything we make is roughly 10 feet wide, and it can be anywhere from a couple of 100 yards up to our biggest rolls are about 10,000 yards in length, which is, makes it about a 30-inch diameter roll. We make some that are down in the 6-7-inch range. So all different types of products that we make here. We'll then remove any defects. We get formation defects. We'll remove those in an inspection process, and then we'll convert. So we'll cut. Very, very few customers want that full 10-foot width. So what we'll do is cut in the second process to a narrower width and send the rolls to the customers. You can see some of the rolls in the bottom of the slide. Next slide, please. So get into real quick our markets and applications, just so you guys can understand some of the products that we make with this material. Medical applications, the most common use that we go into that people are aware of is the medical wrap. You can see there. We do make custom colors, which are sometimes used to give those wraps a different color. And our material is very strong for a very, very lightweight material and gives the medical wrap some support. They put other materials onto our material to make the actual wrap, but ours is the base for it. We also do some in medical filtration applications, you can see on the left there. Next slide, please. Filtration applications, this is our largest market. Most of what we go into is industrial filtration. So if you're familiar with the air filters for your air conditioner at home, that's a material like ours, but that's probably not our material. Ours are mostly going into very, very high-end industrial air filtration applications, or a lot of wet applications, lube oils, hydraulic oils, diesel filtration, things where our material really has some advantages compared to different polymers and nonwoven. An offshoot of this that people are very familiar with now is face masks, the N95 type face mask. We do have some customers that we're working with. They can use our materials to make some of those masks, and we've been very successful there, and really had to change a lot of what we were doing from a sales perspective to market to those applications because there's such a great need now, and really pivot our business a little bit to focus on that and keep us very sustainable in the short term. Next slide, please. Another thing you guys may come into contact with, if you have anything that's stitched on apparel, For instance, an emblem on a shirt or on the sleeve, a lot of times the embroiderers will use our material as a backing. Again, our ability to make custom colors blends in nicely to the fabric color, so it's not as visible, but a lot of people will actually stitch logos into the shirt and use our material as a backing for that, just to give it support and keep it looking nice on finished garments. Next slide, please. We also have a lot of materials that go into automotive applications. A lot of our material is reinforcement for seat backing and safety components, so side curtain airbags. We don't make the airbags. We make a sleeve that the airbag goes in so that it can deploy properly. Instead of shooting straight out and hitting people in the side of the head, it'll drop down and give you a nice curtain airbag without impact to the person. And some that are used simply where pieces are rubbing together and making noise. They can put a layer of our material, again, in any color to match the vehicle interior and keep those two pieces from rubbing together and making noise. So just a bunch of different ways we're using automotive applications as well. Next slide, please. Composites. This is an interesting market for us. We are used a lot in these type structures to really bring a nice surface finish to the material. Our material will pull what is needed to pull from, say, a fiberglass reinforced plastic to the surface to give it a very nice, smooth, and very colorful look. So these people will use our materials just to make the ladder or the shovel handle or whatever it is that you're purchasing look a little bit smoother and nicer and not quite as rough as the fiberglass would be on itself. Next slide, please. We're also used as a processing aid in rubber belting. So when they're making these belts, they actually use a heated press to form the belt, and our material will be on the surface of that. It actually integrates into the belt and keeps them from having to use a powder to keep the belt from sticking to the press. And gives it a nice release. So our material becomes a component of the belt, but it's more as a processing aid so that when they're actually forming the belt with the heated presses and the rubber doesn't stick to the belt. And it's because it goes into it, there's no cleanup, no disposal concerns. So our materials work very, very well in that application just to help them make the product a little bit easier. Next slide, please. Home furnishings, this is one area where I'm talking to people about what we do that I can take them to their house and show them about 6 places where they have our material and don't even realize it. The bath mat that you see there, the edge of the bath mat, there's a layer of tape that actually holds the mat to the backing of the mat itself. And that's usually our material, again, very compatible with the nylon fibers of the mat. And it dyes very well so that you can make whatever color mat you're looking for just by applying a little dye to that tape. On the mattress pad that you see there, our material is actually that side skirt. You can stitch to it again very easily. You can put the elastic around it and give it that stretch. It also maintains strength so that you don't pull it apart when you're sliding it down on a mattress like that. So several different places in home furnishings where our materials are used every day. Next slide, please. As with most manufacturers, quality is very important to us. We've got dedicated resources on site to test the material and make sure that it meets all the specifications. We have other resources that actually work with our customers to set specifications, go through different qualification procedures with our customers, give them documentation and give them some history on process capability and all the data that they need to be comfortable we can make the product that they want to make and keep it in the range that they need it in for their application. So we've got several people here that work just on that side of our business, just to maintain our quality and make sure that the quality that we're producing is what our customer needs for their application. Next slide, please. So that's a brief overview of who we are. I thought it'd be a little bit, it would be a good thing to spend some time talking to you guys about the potential benefits of careers in manufacturing. One we've already discussed is high starting wages. Our starting wages are some of the best in the area, and you know, the advancement opportunities. With us, we're always looking to bring new people in and then have them advance a career here. So it's not an entry-level wage until you find a different job. There's opportunities to grow your skills within the company and grow, or to grow outside through schooling and come in at higher wages as well. Competitive environment for skilled workers. Right now, certainly in this area, anyone who's got a background in industrial electronics, electricity, and anyone who's got a background in welding will have very, very competitive pay offers to work in this area. And there's plenty of companies that need both of those skills all the time. We're constantly looking for folks with those skills. Career growth, I mentioned a little bit. We like people to grow both while they're working as what we call our hourly employees that are paid by the hour, and as they transition into management. Most of our management worked up through the ranks, started as hourly workers at entry level and worked up into management positions, which are very high paying for this area. You know, one of the openers mentioned essential products. We're hearing that word a lot now. We've always made tangible goods. We've always made tangible products. During the pandemic, it became clear that they were essential. So, you know, when everything was on lockdown, our guys were working around the clock, just like they had been, to make products that are used a lot in applications that go into helping to battle the pandemic and other applications that are critical. And some things you might not necessarily think of. We were essential. Most of our essential activity came from the fact that we're helping to support the transportation industry. So truckers the trucking industry needed our materials to continue operations, and for them to be able to move goods from one location to another was essential for you know, the welfare of the nation, up to the Department of Defense, and giving us letters stating we were essential because of the support that we do for different manufacturers and different industries in the country. So we've been running the whole time, no shutdown. Our guys have been getting paid the whole time. And workplace safety is another thing you probably don't think much about. I know certainly when I was going through school, I had a perception that there wasn't a huge concern for workplace safety in the manufacturing environment. It was a very unsafe place to work and a dirty environment to work in. I can tell you that neither of those is the case in the actual industry. We value workplace safety more than we value anything in our organization, and typically go very, very long times between incidents, and give those all the investigation and follow-up that we can prevent those. So we take any incidents very, very seriously. We do a lot to minimize them, get people involved early on in the process, and learn to spot hazards and identify other people doing things unsafe and correct them. So we place a lot of emphasis on workplace safety and on housekeeping in the area. And the common misperceptions that manufacturing jobs are unsafe and dirty environments. Anyone that believes that, you're more than welcome to come to my plant, and you'll see that we don't, that neither of those are true here. Next slide. I think it's time for our virtual tour. Sorry about that. I had some technical difficulties, but I think I'm back now. Paul, are we doing Q&A?
Yeah, would you like me to read the questions or you want to just go through them? So James, we've got some questions down below. How large is the manufacturing plant?
So we exist on 7 acres back here. There's actually 5 manufacturing plants in our complex. CEREX is a standalone company on 7 acres, and our manufacturing facility under the roof is about 100,000 square feet.
Okay, and so we've got a few here. How important is diversity to manufacturing?
Diversity is very important. It takes people with all different backgrounds and all different perspectives to come together and find a solution. We are very big believers in team concept. We like to include a lot of cross-functional folks in problem solving. Quite frankly, sometimes some of your best problem solvers are people that have no idea what you're talking about when you start talking about the problem, because they haven't been trying to figure it out for a day and are frustrated with it. They come in with new perspectives and different thought processes, and we see a lot of benefit from the diverse thought processes. Myself, I'm a process-oriented guy, so I'm going to think through engineering principles in that regard. We have some that are system-oriented. We have some that are very mechanical-oriented. So we try and get as many of those folks together as we can, look at a problem from all different angles to come up with more solutions than just me thinking about it on my own.
So how many different products do you produce?
So there's a short answer and long answer to that. The short answer is we have 2 different products that are distinguished by the bonding technology. One is a chemical and one is a mechanical bonding. So those 2 different products, when you factor in different weights or thicknesses of material we make in each of those lines, then you factor in the different yardages on rolls and the different cut widths that we have for different customers, you're talking about 10,000 products, 10,000 individual products at the customer level based on the 2 different product technologies.
Wow. All right. So will you send your people from your team to work with to our manufacturing academies to talk to our students about safety, HR, and maintenance career pathways? Specifically, the 2 employees from the video that spoke, would love to have them speak to students that would be able to relate to them. Is that a possibility?
Sure. Yeah. Gage and Wanda are both very excited about the process, and they were happy to see themselves and did a great job. They do great work for us. So we have done those types of activities before the pandemic and before everything kind of shut down. But we definitely be open to that in the future.
Great, thank you. How often do you hire, and are you hiring now?
Yes, we are hiring now. How often we hire is generally based on business need. Right now, we're growing. We have a few things that came at us, mostly pandemic related, that are forcing us into a growth mode. So we've been pretty aggressively hiring, probably the past 5 or 6 months, and we still have openings. So yes, we are currently.
Great. All right, here's a good one. How much do I need to know about manufacturing to start at CEREX?
We like people to have a manufacturing background. We have hired people who don't. Ideally, to be honest with you, we're looking for the right fit, and we've hired plenty of people with no manufacturing experience that we felt like were the right fit for us culturally. we've turned away plenty of people who have plenty of manufacturing experience because we didn't feel they were the right fit for us. So we're looking more for the person that's going to come in, demonstrates a little bit of hunger, wants to work and wants to learn new things and grow, works well with other people. And when we find those couple of things, whether or not you have manufacturing experiences, it's a nice to have, but really not needed we honestly feel it's our job to teach you everything you need to be successful here once you get in the door. We're looking to find someone that fits well with our other members and with our culture.
Great. How much product do you put out in a year?
So typical numbers here, I got to stop and think about that. On a poundage, probably a little over 3 million pounds of product, good product goes out a year.
Wow. All right. Do those products have a shelf life?
No, with a caveat. There are some conditions that our material doesn't do well in, storage conditions, but we've got materials that have been in our warehouse for 10 plus years with no change to the material whatsoever. So realistically, as long as it's stored properly, the answer is no. There are some things, some storage conditions that can negate that, but for the most part, and our warehouse is not climate controlled. It's just under a covered roof and open to the environment. So in those conditions, this material can last indefinitely.
Oh. And then we have one final question, unless something else comes in. How else does CEREX engage with the community? And how important is it for you to stay connected with this community?
It's very important for us. We've gone through several different ways to do that. We participated with, say, for instance, United Way Day of Caring. We've been a longstanding member of reaching out that way. One of the things that we've been doing lately, and we're extremely proud of, is we've partnered with Feeding the Gulf Coast to sponsor some school children in what we call the backpack program. So we'll pack weekend meals for them, deliver those to the schools. We give our employees the opportunity to sponsor children so that we can grow the number of children that we're sponsoring. And that program has been very rewarding. I mean, we literally shut our operations down, get all of our employees who are on site to go through this process and fill these bags, whether or not they sponsor children, and encourage them to be part of the process and see the good that we're doing. And every once in a while we get to visit the school and hear some stories from the children that are impacted by that, and that means a lot to all of our folks here.
That's really amazing. Okay, one final question. How many employees do you have?
So right now we're hovering around 70 and trying to get to that 75 number. So in relative terms, we're small from a manufacturing facility, but just great diversity in the people that we have.
It is great. All right. Well, that's the final question. I do want to say thank you, James, to you and your team, and then especially Gage and Wanda, who really spoke to what the Manufacturing Council and Florida Makes and the Florida West EDA and the school system are trying to do, which is show people a career pathway that will let them create a nice life for themselves and their family. They really communicated it perfectly, and we want to say thank you again for agreeing to do this, and congratulations again on the award.
Thank everybody out there. I mean, this is something that's very important to us, and we love engaging in this way and sharing our story a little bit, and we'd love to get Gage and Wanda out there to share theirs a little bit more. So thank you guys for allowing us to be part of the process.
All right, thank you again. So just a quick note to the classrooms. There is the opportunity to do a survey at the end to help us improve the services that FLATE and the manufacturing councils provide. So if you have a chance, please take the time to go ahead and do those. And thank you, everybody, for joining us and participating in this virtual tour.
Thank you.